When I first drew my Washington D.C. section, I liked the ideas behind it. I had the important symbols, the history, and the landmarks, but as my art improved, I felt like my execution didn't match my newer sections anymore. So I decided it was time to give the nation's capital a makeover. Instead of showing symbols, I wanted everything to feel alive, the nature, the history, and the things that make Washington, D.C. unique. So I started with four major upgrades: the American Beauty Rose, the Wood Thrush, the Cherry Blossoms, and Washington Monument. The first thing I redesigned was the American Beauty Rose. The rose is Washington, D.C.'s official flower, and I wanted it to feel more elegant than my original drawing. My older rose got the point across, but it looked more like an icon or a symbol. This time, I wanted it to feel like an actual flower growing in the garden. I focused more on the petals, making them curl around each other and giving the flower more depth. I also added more detail to the leaves and the stem, so it felt like a real plant instead of just a picture of a rose. I think it fits Washington, D.C. well because the city isn't only government buildings and monuments, it's also parks, gardens, and natural beauty. This rose represents that softer, more peaceful side of the capital. Next was the wood thrush, Washington, D.C.'s official bird. This one was really fun because the wood thrush is a small bird, but it has one of the most beautiful songs in North America. A lot of people will actually hear a wood thrush before they ever see one because they're often hidden among the trees. My original drawing was cute, but I wanted a new one to have more personality. I added more texture to the feathers, made the colors warmer, and focused on the little details, like the spotted chest and its eyes. I love the contrast of this tiny bird representing a city known for huge monuments. You have the Capitol, the White House, and these giant buildings where history happens. But somewhere nearby, there's still a little bird sitting in a tree, singing like it always has. After that, I drew one of Washington, D.C.'s most famous symbols, the cherry blossoms. Every spring, thousands of people visit D.C. to see these flowers bloom. But what makes them special isn't just how beautiful they are, they also have a story. In 1912, Japan gave thousands of cherry trees to the United States as a symbol of friendship. Over a century later, they're still blooming around the capital. For the redesign, I wanted them to feel more delicate. I worked more on the soft colors, the petal shapes, and the details in the center of each flower. They represent spring, renewal, and friendship. It's amazing how something as simple as a flower can carry so much history. The final redesign is the Washington Monument. This was a big one because it's one of the most recognizable landmarks in America. My older drawings showed the monument, but I wanted the new one to feel like you were actually standing there. I added flags around the base, the trees, more depth, and more detail to the monument itself. The Washington Monument honors George Washington, the first president of the United States, and it stands right in the center of so much American history. It connects everything around it: the Capitol, the Lincoln Memorial, the White House, and the National Mall. It's simple, but that's kind of what makes it powerful. And with that, page one of my Washington D.C. is complete. The makeover is done. The same symbols are still here, but I just wanted them to look better. Because Washington, D.C. isn't just a place of buildings and monuments, it's history, nature, and the little details that make the capital feel alive. Subscribe to see more of the journey of Washington, D.C. And one state at a time, I'm drawing America the way it deserves to be remembered.